welcome to another episode of the United Fancast. This time we're focusing on the great debate surrounding the form and quality of the current crop of wingers at Manchester United. We'll be looking at who might be an adequate replacement if any of them get sold in the coming transfer window, and whether or not Manchester United should stray away from the tradition of using wingers in favour of a more continental approach by using versatile attacking midfielders. The hosts for this episode are Darren, D Grant 117, and SIF. The special guest is Cheshire.
I haven't really seen much of the wingers this season. They've been pretty poor, if you ask me. Nani, Ashley Young, all injured. Valencia injuries. I think it's coming up. It's coming back to bite him. What do you think about it, Cesar?
Um, what to say? Valencia has been disappointing to say the least. Um, Again, he had an amazing season last year. I mean, he was the player of the year for us. This time around, he was absolutely atrocious. I don't want to say that this whole number seven issue is weighing him down and sort of like killing his confidence, but really, I mean, I don't understand what's going on with him. Sometimes he doesn't even look like a professional footballer. That being said, in the last few games, he was decent. Doesn't really say much considering his form so far this season, but he did put in a pretty good defensive shift. I think that was against Sunderland or Chelsea. At Chelsea, he played a right back. Uh, it's good for us, but at the same time, it's bad because I mean he's a winger. You want him to be scoring goals, to be putting in crosses, to be terrorizing the defenses. He's doing none of that. Unfortunately, he hasn't done it all season long. It really takes me back to Anfield earlier in the season. I think it was September, October, when he dispossessed Stagger and who else was there? Skirtle.
I
He
think it was
dispossessed him.
I think
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
Glenn Johnson too. Played.
Glenn Johnson, and he ran and he was 1-on-one with Reina, and I don't know what was going on through his head. He could have shot, he could have assisted Van Persie. Van Persie was wide open. Instead, he fell down on minimal contact. I was really disappointed to see that. Then you have Ashley Young, who literally I haven't seen him make a forward pass all season long. Yeah, he'll get the ball, he'll look forward, he'll waste a couple of seconds, he'll look back, he'll pass it back. The only time I can think about him ever making a productive pass was that assist for Rooney's first goal at the Etihad, which was good. That entire play was really good from him, and I gotta say I wish he would give us a lot more of that. I mean, he clearly showed that he's able. A lot of people say he's not United quality. I sort of agree, but I think it's half half. I think he can deliver. He just doesn't. He just chooses not to. So that's all I have to say about Ashley Young. And then you have Nani. I mean, what is there to say about Nani that hasn't been said? He's capable of brilliance. He is very talented. He's a true winger in my opinion, and he's got a few good games, and then he's got a game like that one against Chelsea where he was absolutely atrocious. Uh, you can say that's because of the injury, but I don't buy it. A lot of players come back from the injury and they can at least make a pass to their own teammate. Nani was terrible.
Yeah,
So,
I have to agree with that.
s- so there's one underlying fact in that whole conundrum that Nani, like, despite of playing like what did he play like 10 games all season, he's got more goals and assists than Valencia and Young combined, who played a lot. Like Valencia played pretty much every game, and Nani's got more assists than them. Not to mention they have no goals between him, Young and Valencia. So I would still rank him Nani, Valencia, Young in that order.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, I definitely have to agree. Like I was talking with someone else about Ashley Young's, I guess, value to the team, and they're mentioning he's a good defense. He tracks back, he helps Evra, and his style of play actually kind of suits Evra because he just sits on the ball, thinks about what he wants to do, passes it back to the midfield, and while he's doing all that, Evra's bombing forward, for someone else to pick out his run. So in
Yeah.
a way, it kind of suits Ever, but for him to be our winger, I think it's kind of a waste. He cuts the ball back too much, and there's some people who say his defensive work is good, but I think we already have Welbeck for that. I mean he's not even a winger, but he's got more goals and assists than Young on that left wing this season,
yeah.
and he
Yeah.
kind of I think Welbeck's kind of replaced Ji Sung Park as that like defensive wide man who can go forward and cause the other people problems at times. I think that's kind of Danny's role this year. So we need someone with more like attacking threat, someone with with scoring boots who can put the ball in on that left wing. I think that's kind of what we're missing because we usually play one dimensional. Like usually there's one side we're attacking from, and the other side kind of just watches. And for me, this season is the left side. That whenever Young plays on that side, it seems like he's just watching the game, not really affecting things.
And now we'll just get on with since you brought it up about we could bring some attacking threats this summer. Who do you guys think would be or would potentially do better than Nani, Valencia, or Young if considering we got rid of them? Any transfer stories you'd like to bring up to the table or?
Um, I could I actually have two players in mind. Well, three, but okay. First of all, I don't really necessarily think we should sell Young, Nani, or Valencia, even though the possibility of Nani leaving is very high. Uh, Not the ideal scenario, but it most likely will happen, unfortunately. Somebody to replace him, I really can't think of anything, but there are two players. I'll try to pronounce the first guy's name. His name is Jorginho Wijnaldum or something like that. He plays for PSV. He's both a playmaker and a winger. He's 22. He's really good. If don't really get to watch much of the Dutch league, there's a bunch of videos on YouTube. He's very skillful. The other one, as a direct replacement for Valencia, is Luciano Narsing. Also for PSV, he's a right winger, right-footed. He's got sort of a direct approach, but he's got a lot of flair to him.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I've
so
actually heard of that guy. He's kind of like Valencia a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Like very pacey, direct, like Valencia, but he's got a bit of like trickery to him, like Nani. They're a pretty good mix. He's 20 years old. I like him better than the previous guy that I mentioned, Wijnaldum.
yeah,
Is he
Uh,
really just 20?
he's 20, yeah, yeah, he's 20. Let me
That's
double
young.
check. Yeah, he's very young, and he's doing pretty well for PSV. I mean, it's the Dutch league. It's not as demanding as the EPL. Oh, sorry, 22, 22. Sorry, I was 2 years off. Well, still, I mean, he's
Yeah, I
he's
mean still pretty young.
yeah, he could walk into our team right now in the wing department because okay, I don't think he's got the best defensive abilities, but then again, that's not something we need right now. Is we need somebody who's got the balls to go forward, to put the ball forward, to cross it, to pick out a pass, shoot, and yeah, I think he could replace Valencia as a replacement for Nani. I'm fresh out of ideas who could come into that position, to that role. I really don't know.
yeah. Well, for me, I definitely think if Nani was to leave, somebody with experience and that ability to create something out of nothing to drive our attack to a solid point where we can score goals and make get goal scoring opportunities. I think somebody the likes of James Rodriguez, he's on the lips of everybody. People say he's a bit slow to be a winger, but to be honest, I think with the amount of playmaking we have from either Kagawa or Carrick to send that player up deep in space, I think we won't really need that much of pace. So I mean, I guess it's always good to have that sort of pace, but I think we need somebody more of a paciness on that left wing, or yeah, left or right wing, whichever. Definitely one that can cut in easy. I think James Rodriguez has like a good balance to him. He can
Yeah, I
cut
agree.
in. He can cut in, take a couple shots in the middle. I think I've seen him play against Porto recently. He did a pretty good job cutting in a lot and giving a lot of playmaking. Um, sorry, I'm losing train of thought, but that's sort of basically what I'm trying to say. He makes a lot of plays for the team. He gets in a lot of crosses, which is needed. Crosses has definitely been a weak point in our in our squad this season. So definitely his crosses could help us out. And I guess in terms of Ashley Young, I think he could still stay with us, but he's definitely declining in ability. To be honest, I haven't seen much of him, skillfully as we saw as last season. He's been kind of, I think, scared. To be honest, he's always retreating back to Evra to lay off a pass or back pass to Evra. Maybe we can get somebody younger, and I guess that's where Zaha comes in. To be honest, Zaha will definitely, I think, could take Young's place in form of getting somebody on that left hand side or right hand side, whichever. And as for Valencia, I'm still trying to think of a player to go on with Valencia, but Valencia has a very good ability of going forward. His pace and his strength, like Cesar mentioned, I think it's a very special type of winger we have. I guess Narcenage, the one from PSV that plays with Strootman, another target we're linked with. He can definitely he definitely reminds me of Valencia, and I think he could definitely take on that right-handed side. And he's exactly like him, but I think he could be a lot better than Valencia. Uh, what do you think, SAF, on terms of wingers that could be brought in?
Well, I mean, I look at our current crop, and basically they're supposed to be in their best, years of their lives in terms of their form.
Right.
Like Nani, no, not Nani. Yeah, Nani. Oh yeah, Nani's 26. Ashley Young, I think, is 28. Valencia is, I think, 27, turning 28. So I mean, if they're going to be crap now, and we should get rid of them. To be honest, they're not going to improve. This is where their form is supposed to settle. And I look out at other big teams in Europe, and not many teams have real wingers. I mean, the only team I can think of right now with two wingers on both on in their team, their starting 11 is probably like Real Madrid with Ronaldo and Di Maria, and maybe at times Bayern Munich with Ribery and sometimes Robin, but mostly it's been Muller, and he's not really a winger either. So I think maybe it's time, we go towards like a wide cam type player like Goats, or Isco, or in my opinion, I think Rodriguez is more of like a wide forward than a cam. But I think these are guys. I mean, if we're serious about splashing the cash, if we can, dump 30 million on Mora, 30 million on Hazard, I think these are real targets we should be thinking about because they're all young. They're all 21, 22 years old, and their quality is right there for all to see. They've got plenty of experience, So I'm hoping, we show some ambition and try and pull one of these guys out to replace our current crop because I mean they're supposed to be in their prime and they're disappointing right now. So I think it's time to get on some new blood in.
So you think that the time is ripe to dump this whole wing play formula that United has been known for decades, and switch to a more Spanish model or Barcelona style, sort of like City's doing, Chelsea with these miniature cams like I don't know Mata, Silva, Iniesta, like those small playmakers. Uh, is basically that what you're saying?
I don't think. I mean, we shouldn't ditch our our trademark, what we're known for. I just think that it couldn't hurt, especially given our style of play. We usually, these last few years we've been really dominant. We've been really reliant on that right hand side. So I think it couldn't hurt to get someone on that left hand side who's a little bit more versatile, who can cut in and shoot, go down the wing and cross. Someone who's got a bit of flair and unpredictability like Nani. I don't think we should restrict ourselves to getting two pure wingers because most teams in Europe right now they don't have that. You're lucky if you find one good winger on their team.
Yeah. Right.
So it might be time for us to be a little bit more flexible.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I don't think we should stray away from our winger tactical change to a CAM. I mean, I think we should bring in a couple CAMs that could play in that wing slot, like Isco or Malega. He can do that. But I think we should just still, for our sake, definitely play the winger roles because it adds a good dimension to our team. That players that play or teams that that play in a narrow sort of view, we could definitely stretch them out with wingers, and definitely those that are able to, play out wide basically and play make and put balls inside the box and are giving our forwards able to chance our goal scoring opportunities. So I think it'd be definitely a good thing to keep our wingers, but definitely buy some CAMs or left attacking midfielders or whichever. So I think it'd be a good idea to actually get both if possible. So
Well, I mean, one thing that kind of comes to mind when we're talking about all these, all these transfer targets is for their current teams, they're playing it week in, week out. They have the continuity that you don't really have here at United. Sir Alex loves to rotate the squad. So I'm looking at these guys and I'm thinking, they've probably all gone through stretches like Young and Valencia where they've been, just dreadful, but they were allowed to play out of these like bad moments. I think like Hazard, he there was a period in time where everyone's like, oh man, this guy's overrated, he stinks, But I mean, looking at him now, I mean, he's really come on and he's got 50 games under his belt. So, I mean, my question would be, I mean, maybe is it that we're not giving our wingers enough time, like a long enough run in the team to like build some form, or have they really just, gone to crap?
Uh, See, one thing that I definitely do not like about the last, I guess, 2 seasons at United is there's just way too much squad rotation. And while I mean that's absolutely necessary when we are involved in three different competitions: Premiership, FA Cup, Champions League. Of course, you have to rotate your squad to keep players fresh. But what's going on is that Sir Alex he's experimenting way too much with formations, with playing people out of position, like again Welbeck on the left, Jones in the midfield. Kagawa is always playing out of position. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there needs to be some sort of continuity. And again, you don't go just from being decent or good or anything to being crap overnight. That's something that happened to Torres. But he had an injury, a very no, a very not to pick on him, but he had a very serious injury, and after he came back, he was never the same. Uh, then you have Nani, Valencia, Young. They all had their injuries. Nothing too serious. Obviously, every injury is serious, but uh, with them, it was never a major break or torn ligaments or anything like that. So definitely, it has a lot to do with this huge squad rotation that's always going on. And really, I don't think anybody, even Sir Alex, can name their best 11, our best 11 United starters. Really, I can't personally uh, name it. So definitely, it has affected their form. One thing again that is, I think Sir Alex is making a mistake is, I mean, Nani's having a crap game like the one against Chelsea, and then he takes him off. Uh, I don't think he should have done that necessarily. I mean, I don't remember who he put on instead of Nani. Was it Welbeck? I don't know if you guys remember.
It
uh,
might have been. I think he shifted. I don't really remember. I think he shifted Jones to right back. He brought on Giggs, and then he brought on Young.
yeah, that's
Right,
what he
right,
did. That's what he did.
right. So I don't know. In my opinion, like he really should have kept Nani on because he is the guy who created our only chance of the game up until that point. He was the only one who sort of made Czech work with that shot. As crap as he was, don't get me wrong, Nani was absolutely atrocious that game. Like, but I don't know. I think when a winger's having a crap game, he needs to be given chances because I don't know a single winger barring Ronaldo who like is just like dominating it for 90 minutes. But we're talking about Ronaldo. I mean, it's him and Messi. Like we don't know who's better, but like they're the top two players. Can't compare those two. So definitely, yeah, I think the wingers need to be given a straight up chance to shine. And squad rotation, I think it should be limited for the benefit of the players. That or just move them on because right now we're in a limbo, wasting time.
Yeah, in terms of giving them a chance, I agree with, but in terms of how much chances we're giving them, I think it's way too. I think it's a lot, to be honest. I mean, at the beginning of the season, it was a bit of a mess in terms of injuries, but progressively we've gotten better. But progressively, the wingers have gotten worse. To be honest, we haven't seen anything. Nothing to show that they're getting back on form or they're getting better as the seasons go on. We're all going on about saying it's December or it's that November that it's at their time of the month or of the season really where they all have a dry streak of form. And it's past November. It's past March now. The season's almost over. When are they gonna get good? When are they gonna wake up and start getting better now? It's getting worrying. So it's time for our wingers get back to their best finally. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. That I guess they have had games, but I mean, the thing for me is, I mean, how many games in a row have they been able to play?
Yeah,
I look
exactly.
at Nani, and he's had a really kind of crap season, but if you look at the stats, I mean, he's still contributes either a goal or assist every other game, you know. And I don't. Can you actually say that he's played 3 games in a row this season at any given point?
Nope.
He's kind of been in and out of the team either through injury or form. I mean, we haven't really seen him get a run. Guys like Rooney, like when they're playing crap, when they just come back from an injury, he gets like a run of games so he can play himself back into form. Maybe that's what guys like Nani need. Maybe he just needs a run in the team. So I mean, I just think it would be a big mistake for us to get rid of Nani and keep younger Valencia. I like Valencia, but I mean, I'm looking at Young and I'm thinking I can't see how he adds to the team more than Nani. So, I just feel hopefully, with the last 8 games left in the season, he can get a bit of a run, stay healthy, and show us what he can do. Because I mean, in my opinion, he's better than Young in Valencia, and he can show that at any time. He's just got to do it.
Okay. Uh, well, considering that, we talked about transfer deals. Earlier at the beginning of this season, we made a bid for both Lucas Moura and Eden Hazard. And my question is potentially what would happen if either either one of those guys were in the squad now? What do you think they would definitely have made an impact now? Like they're doing at they're both separate clubs respectively at
Well, well, you if you look at Hazard, I mean, obviously, as mentioned before, he did have I guess a dry spell, so to speak, back in December. But he's been pretty consistent ever since. He's always a threat. He rarely uh, misplaces a pass. He definitely would have been really good for United. Uh, we're talking about playing time, but I think player like Hazard, he could walk into any team right now. Really, any team in the world, that including Madrid and Barcelona. He's a really good player, and he will only get better. Lucas Moura, again, the only time I've seen him play, I don't watch the French league, but I've seen him play against Barcelona, and he was absolutely deadly on that wing. It's hard to get him off the ball, even though he's a really small guy, a really small, tiny guy. He keeps the ball and he uses his dribbling to get out of sticky situations. He doesn't do it like Ronaldo to show off or to just confuse the defender. He uses it tastefully, so to speak, sparingly, to get out of when he's being double teamed, he gets out of the situation by dribbling, which is something that's really nice to see. Again, even Mora, he's not a classic winger, but at United he would have been. And in my personal opinion, I would have liked him a lot more at United than Hazard.
Yeah,
He's
I
just that
agree.
type of player. Uh, but again, you gotta keep in mind that the amount of money that he went for was just ridiculous. And if it really comes down to the question whether or not we should have like sort of tried to outbuy PSG, I don't think so. I really don't think so. That's just, as Sir Alex would say, that's silly money. As much as he's worth it, we really shouldn't be paying up to 50 million for a 19-year-old who may or may not come good. So, but definitely, if you take the money out of the equation, I think he would have turned their season around. I think he would have gotten the number seven. You can whatever you can put attach significance to it, or you don't have to. But I think he would have been that legendary number seven, and he would have, he would have set the world on fire, so to speak, down that wing. Especially considering how bad our wingers have been performing.
Right. What do you think, SAF?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say because our squad kind of getting a little big at the moment. I think I would have been all right with us going for Hazard and Mora a little harder if we were gonna let someone go. Uh, because I mean, although they've been playing better than the wingers we have this season, that's not really saying much. I just feel that Mora specifically was probably the bigger loss, just because I mean, Hazard is a good player. He's a good dribbler. He's got that short pass game going for him, but Mora adds a shooting dynamic from outside the box. I mean, he loves to take shots from outside the box, and he's got a wicked shot. And he's very comfortable crossing the ball, and in addition to playing that short pass game, and we haven't really seen Hazard cross the ball. He's basically a short pass type guy. So I feel like we probably should have gone a little harder for Mora. Maybe a little bit. We should have gotten the deal done a little quicker because we dragged it out for way too long. Um, but yeah, I mean, what's done is done. I mean, you can't really spend too much time thinking about it. But the player we did sign, we signed Zaha this January, and he's been doing pretty well in the championship. I mean, he's statistically, he's creating a lot of chances. He loves to dribble. He's running at defenders. Stuff we're not seeing in the current winners. So I'm curious. What do you guys think? What do you guys expect Zaha to be able to do next year, in terms of his impact in the first team?
Well, I'll start off by saying I don't think Zaha will do much. Um, he's gonna have a huge. I wouldn't say it's not gonna be difficult for him to adjust to the league, but it's gonna be a huge challenge for him to actually, go against players like Nani. And if Valencia gets back on form again, figuring he has a good summer break off where he has a good chance to heal himself, because I think due to his poor form Valencia this season, his injuries are definitely catching up to him. So considering he gets a good break, I think he could challenge Zaha on that right wing. Nani, hopefully he signs a contract, he stays with us. Hopefully he gets to stay, and he can play on that left wing. He could definitely challenge Ashley Young for a place, Zaha. He can definitely fill in for him if he ever gets injured or something. But I don't think Zaha will definitely make a good impact on the first season. Definitely, maybe the second. Maybe he could do a much better chance. But I think it'll take him some time, just to get used to the team and everything. I'll definitely want to see how he does in the Premier League than the Championship. It shouldn't be too much that big of a difference, but you just want to just see the step up of the league and the challenges and the physicality itself. So it's gonna be a different challenge for Zaha. So, but I'm really not expecting much. So yeah, that's my views on Zaha.
Um, I personally, I'm putting in a lot of I have a lot of expectations from Zaha, personally. Maybe because I am desperate and have been for a
Yeah.
good, consistent winger at United. We haven't seen one since 2 seasons ago when Nani got Player of the Year award. That season he was absolutely amazing. But even then, he sort of fizzed out towards the end when Valencia took over. But we saw some magic on the wings that season. Uh, so I have a lot of expectations from him. He's young. He's brave. He takes on his player in the championship. He scores some good goals, provides assists. I think he's got all the ingredients of becoming world class. Too early to tell, but I mean, watching him play versus Romania recently, uh, he's got some amazing skill. He's got beautiful first touch. he's gonna be a great player for us, definitely. And when it comes to challenging either one of our current wingers for the starting berth in the team, I think he's uh, unproven as he is. I think he can easily walk into our team over any of the guys. Um, of course, time will tell. He will obviously get his chances if he shines. He's obviously gonna be playing. As simple as. Um, However, I don't know. Again, you mentioned earlier, Nani's 28. Sorry, Nani's what, 26. Valencia 28, young as well. Uh, there's a reason why we paid 10 million for a 20-year-old Zaha. He is the future in the end. So yeah, I think he's gonna be great for us. In short,
Well, I kind of, I guess I'm in the middle of you two. I think I don't expect him to make that many starts in the league, especially early on in the season. I think Fergie's going to gradually build him up in terms of confidence and the type of games he gets. I feel like he'll be a squad player for us at the beginning, at most, if that. He might get some cup games. And that's kind of been my worry. When we get these young talents, are they going to go straight into the first team, or are they going to, be playing with the reserves like Nick Power right now? We barely see him, so
Right.
I'm hoping he makes some appearances, and is able to stamp his authority on the side. But I'm not really expecting him to get that many starts. I think he's a talent. I just hope he can live up to the pressures of playing in such a huge squad and not having guaranteed first team football every single week like he has right now at Palace. I mean, he's played 40 something games I think this season. Last season he had like 50 or 60 something, like, I mean, not 60, but you know what I mean. He played the
Yeah.
entire season
Right.
with this
Yeah.
team. So I'm hoping he's just able to live up to that different expectation, different pressure, and different amounts of game time that he'll see at United.
Yeah. So, same with me. Don't get me wrong. Zaha looks like a promising talent, but considering his first season, the time he will have, he definitely. I don't think he'll make that big of an impact. That's what I'm saying. So, yep. And I guess if anybody has any further questions or statements, we'll go ahead and end the episode. No, 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 Audie.
well, I just wanted to say that Ryan Giggs, who is 39 years old, just showed our current crop of wingers what it really means to be a winger.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure anybody can agree with me.
Yeah.
Anytime he played on the wing, he put in a good cross. He was just amazing. So I still find it unbelievable that this man is still going strong. I don't know. I love him. I love Giggs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
we'd
feel
be
that's.
we'd be useless without him right now. So
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
hopefully he can
much.
play till 50.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I feel it's
Hopefully
kind of
get.
embarrassing that he's showing these young guys around. Showing it, getting the job done up in the wing department. So I think it's kind of embarrassing, but it's always good to have those old legs. I mean, they really give that sort of experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, all right. Thank you again for fans for listening through this 10th episode. I made a mistake earlier saying that this was the 8th. Excuse me for that, but well, thanks again for sticking around for this 10th episode. And next week we'll probably have some inquiries about more topics about maybe a Barcelona input. So we'll probably hear from one of a Barcelona's perspective, a fan's perspective on that. So keep tuning in, and I'm D Grant 117, or Darren for short, and my two co-hosts, SoccerisFootball and Cheshire 101, and we'll go ahead and say goodnight. Thanks for tuning in.
See you later.
Later.